Hey, I see some of you guys joining the stream. You are welcome back to this section. You are welcome back. You are welcome back. So, as usual, you know what to do. Make sure to please like this video, okay? Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. You haven't subscribed. By this way, once we go live or release any need video, you'll be the best person to get it right away. So, thank you for joining us for today's discussion. So, let's wait for others to join so that we will start or continue our discussion very soon. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. So if you just join us, you are welcome. You are welcome. Make sure to smash the like button of this video, share with your friends so that they can also join us to study in that case, okay? And then make sure to like this video as well. Like this video so we can get more engagement on this video. So we are going to continue with where we left off, that of what yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's video, please, right after the link in the description section of this video, check so that you can get it right away to watch, so that you can get to understand where we started from, that of yesterday, to include today's own, so that you are good to go when it comes to trade and cash discount. So let's take note of that. So I see some of you guys joining the stream. You are welcome back once again. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share with your friends so they can also join us to learn on the channel. So yesterday we started with a concept about what trade discount, and then we explained what trade discount is. We talk about the method that we use to compete for trade discount. We also solve some questions in relation to trade discount. We also discussed what cash discount is, and then how cash discount is computed in relation to selling and buying and other issues in relation to that. So I think this is where we left off, that of yesterday, the issue about what cash discount. The cash discount, where I explained that cash discount is what are reductions in the total purchase amount given to buyers to encourage them to pay what quickly. And then we said that for a buyer to earn a discount as a cash discount, there are some terms that the buyer needs to what agree. We call it what terms of payment, or the terms actually details or the or stipulates all the conditions necessary for the payment, and then necessary for a buyer to earn what a cash discount, okay? And then we said that some of the terms can be in the form of this, can be in a form like where you have 2, that's 2 out of 10, or net what 30, net 30, meaning that for the if the buyer is able to pay within 10 days, here he's gonna earn what 2% what discount. I hope that is clear. So that's what we talk about. And we also said that the N30 means that the buyer is going to earn N percentage when he's able to pay on the last date of what the discount date. So the 30 years becomes the last date of the discount date, or becomes more like the due date. That's where we discussed that of for yesterday. So yesterday we discussed a whole lot of concepts. So if you missed that of yesterday's one, so please make sure to visit that of yesterday's one so that you can join us for today's discussion, so that you can get a clear picture of it. I think yesterday we spoke a lot about this. So if you missed it right after this, make sure to visit the first video we did on trade discount, so that you can go through and catch, so that you can go through to understand everything in relation to that. And I think yesterday we looked at a question on this where we were asked to calculate first, second, and then third day discount in relation to this example. I think we left off with this question that was what we wanted to discuss before we left off that of what yesterday. So that's the question we're going to look at right now. After that, we continue with the latter part of cash discount, then we are good to go. So if there is any question, let me see in the comment section before we go. I see some of you guys joining the stream. Make sure to like this video, share with your friends so that they can also join us. And then let me see also where you are watching us from, so that we can get engagement on this video. Thank you very much. So let's actually answer this question. That was an example that we should have looked at that of yesterday, but then because of time and other issues, we failed not to look at. So let's look at it right now. So that after that, we'll move on to other issues in relation to cash discount. I hope that is clear. So now there is a question here. KB Enterprise sold sanitizer liquid soap to Glidewood Motors. The invoice amount is $810, which includes $35 in flight charges. The invoice date is on what? July 13, and the items and the terms are 5/10, comma n/30. Gladwood Motors returns 230 worth of merchandise and pay the rest of the invoice before the discount date. They are asking us calculate the cash discount and the remittance, determine also the discount date and then the due date. So that's what we are told to answer. So let's see how we calculate for the cash discount and then the remittance in this case. Let's see how we calculate. Yesterday we learned that for us to calculate remittance, okay, remittance is the amount that as a buyer you pay once goods is being sold to you by a business on credit terms. So you're going to send you an invoice and then you're going to tell you that this is the total amount you're going to pay to include everything. That's what we call what remittance, an amount that you as a buyer will pay upon the goods that will be sold to you on credit terms. I hope that is clear. So in calculating for remittance, so in calculating what remittance, we are saying that first of all you need to go through certain process before you can get what your remittance. First, you need to calculate what we call your net purchase amount. So I call it as what? NPA. Your net purchase amount. Your net purchase amount is always your invoice amount. So I call it as invoice amount, IA, minus any, if there is any flight, you take that one from it, right? So minus any flight charges, or let's say flight charges here, minus any flight charges. So here in this case we're having flight charges, so flight charges minus any returns that the customer actually returned to the business. So if there is any return, it's also subtract from the invoice amount. I hope that is clear. So I mean all returns and all charges that is associated with the trading and the buying and selling of the merchandise on behalf of, I mean, in between the two parties, that's the business and the buyer, you take it from the invoice price so that we get to know the net purchase amount. The reason why we're calculating the net purchase amount is to help us to know the discount that the buyer is going to earn on the actual quantity. That's the reason why we always calculate the net purchase amount. So in doing that, we can say that we know the invoice price in this question. We were told that the invoice price in this question was what? $810. So in this case, it's going to be $810 minus, and we know the flight charges was what? 35, and then we know that of the returns was what? 230. Is that okay? So by the fact of this, you should be arriving at, so let's see what you're going to get in relation to this. You should be able to arrive at what? 545. That becomes your net purchase what amount. If you remember yesterday, here's what we said in calculating for the remittance. We said first of all you need to calculate what? Your net purchase amount, which is your invoice amount, this one, minus any merchandise returns and any flights, I mean any handling and other costs that's associated with what? The trading of the good or the trading of the merchandise between the two parties. You take it from the invoice amount, and then once you get that, you're going to get the net purchase amount. And then the reason why we calculate for the net purchase amount, we turn the net purchase amount for us to help us to calculate what? The cash discount. So after getting that, that is why you're going to apply your discount rate as cash discount on your net purchase, so that you can get your discount, your cash discount amount. Is that okay? Or you can get your discount amount in that case. So that's how we are heading towards to. So I hope things are clear. So that is the reason why we need to calculate for your net purchase amount, because discount should be applied on the actual quantity or for the merchandise good that we actually sold to the customer, and not the inclusion of the returns and then the flight as part of all the cost. So always take, that's why we subtract these stuff from it. So let's take note of that. So let's get back to our question once again. So that's the reason why, that's the reason why we calculated for this, and we had what, 500 and what, $45 in that case. So now once you're able to get the net purchase amount, the next thing you want to calculate is to calculate what we call your discount what amount, because we want to know the remittance that we made for the period. I hope that is clear. So let's calculate what we call our discount amount. I'll call it as what, DA. Discount amount is going to be the net purchase amount multiplied by the discount rate. So the discount, what was the discount rate in the question? It was what, 5% within what, 10 days, because we were told that Glidewood Motors returns this of merchandise and pay the rest of the invoice before the discount what day. So you qualify for what, a discount. So we need to calculate a discount for Glidewood based on the net purchase amount. So we know the net purchase amount was what, was 545. So you just apply a discount rate of what, 5% on it. Whatever you're going to get becomes your discount amount. So let's see what you're going to get for a discount amount. Per my calculation, I had the discount amount to be $27.25. Let's see whether I also get the same thing. That's what I have for the discount what amount. So once you're able to get the discount amount, the next thing you want to do is to find what we call your cost of what, merchandise. I call it as what, CM, cost of merchandise. Cost of merchandise is the net purchase amount for the period, take away what, the discount amount, because at the end of the day the customer has earned a discount, so you need to what, reduce his price going to pay for the day by what, the discount amount. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. So let's take note of that. So in calculating the cost of merchandise, it is always the net purchase amount, okay, minus the discount amount. So in that, I know my net purchase amount in this question was what, 545. Is that okay? And I know my discount amount was what, 27 point what, 25. 27.25. So in this case, I can say that my cost of merchandise, when I subtract 27 from 545, I arrive at an answer of 517.7 what, $5. So that becomes my cost of merchandise. But the question, we are told that we need to calculate what, the cash discount. So we have already calculated the cash discount, which is what, $27.25, right? But we are also told to calculate what, the remittance, right? So in getting the remittance, if actually the one that we sold the goods to him, or the customer that we sold the goods to, if let's say is living on a different country, meaning that for the goods to get to that customer, we need to take flight, like whatever means that would transfer the good from our warehouse to that customer's house, it's going to incur the cost. In business and accounting, we call it what, carriage, but in mathematics we call it as what, flight cost. Is that okay? So the remittance is going to include the cost of merchandise plus the flight cost that the business is going to incur, going to be part of what, the cost of what, the customer. In this case, like is going to be borne with the flight charges. So in calculating the remittance, I can say that R represent remittance should be equal to the cost of what, the merchandise plus what, the flight charges. In this case, FC, flight charges, right? So I know the cost of merchandise was what, 517.75, and I know the flight charges was what, 35. I hope that is clear. So in this case, when I add the two, I had a figure of, this is what I had. Let's see. When I add the two, I had a figure of 552.75. So this becomes what, my remittance, 552.75 in that case. So let's take note of that. So if there's any question, let me know before I continue. Let me know before I continue. All right, so since there is no question, let's move on in that case. So you are also asked to determine also the discount date and the due date. We said the discount date is a date that you can earn what a discount. Let's revisit that one once again so that we come back. We said a discount date, the date by which a discount can be received or earned. So that is a discount date. Is that okay? And we said the due date is the date upon which you need to what make the last payment. That's when, if there is any payment that is outside the due date, you're gonna attract what, an interest. That's what we said about due date. So we are also asked to calculate what, the discount date and then the due what date. So let's see. We realize that the terms of the condition was what, 5/10 and n slash what, 30. I hope that was what we're given. Let's see. Yeah, n/30. So meaning that for me to calculate the discount date is going to start from the date that the invoice was issued. All right, so the invoice date, we realize that the invoice date in this case, sorry for that, we realize that the invoice date in this question was on what, July what, 13, right? So that was the invoice date. So for me to get the discount date, let me call it as what, D. For me to get a discount date, I can say that discount date is going to be the invoice date. So the invoice date was on what, 13th July. All right, 13th July plus. So how many days can I earn a discount of 5%? That's on what, 10 days. Is that okay? So I'll add what, 10 days to what, 13th July. So in that, I can say that it's going to fall on what, 23rd of what, July. Let's see if that is right. That becomes what, my discount, because if I add 10 plus 13, it's going to result to a 23, and that becomes what, 23rd of what, July. I hope that is clear. So that becomes what, my discount date. Is that okay? And then I was also told to find what we call the due date. The due date too is always the invoice date plus the last date that you can earn what, a discount. That becomes your due date. I hope that is clear. So due date too is going to be the invoice date, which is what, 13th July plus, so what was the due date, was what, 30. So 30 days, you add 30 days to the invoice date. So let's see. So on what date will, when you add 30 plus 13, and on which month is going to fall on? So let's see what you're going to get. In my case, when I calculate, so just one is a matter of what, counting your fingers, okay, so that you can get the date that is going to fall on. Is that okay? So even let's do some little calculations here. Let's say from 13th July to 31st July, we are left with, I think, let's see, I think we are left with what, 18 days, isn't it? 18 days. So 18 plus 13, let's see what you're going to get. If I add 18 plus 13, I'm going to get what? So you're going to be 1. So it's going to be 31, right? Good. So if I should take what, 18 from 30 and add it to 30, I'm going to result in, you're going to fall on what, 31st of what, July. Okay, so meaning that I'm left with what, 12 days to be added up. So meaning that the 12 days is going to fall, the due date is going to fall on what, from July move on to what, August. It's going to fall on what, 12 what, August. I hope that is clear. So in this case, I can say that my due date is going to be on what, 12 August. And this is how we calculate due date, discount dates, and other stuff. But if we were told to, let's say, to calculate what, discount period, it should have been from the invoice date, which is 13th July to 23rd July. That becomes the discount period. If we were to be the payment period too, it would have been from the invoice date, which is 13th July to the 12th August. That becomes what, the payment what period, or the due what period. I hope that is clear. So when you're asked to calculate the period, it starts from the invoice to that item that we are talking about. When you are asked to calculate the actual date, then you add that days to that, the invoice date, so that you get to know whether it's a discount date or due date or payment date or whatever date that they want you to know. I hope that is clear. So that's the issue about the discount date, the due dates, and other stuff. So if there's any question, please let me know in the comment section before I continue. I see some of you guys joining the stream. You are welcome back to this live session. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that by this once we go live we're able to get it right away. So thank you for joining us for today's section. All right, so this is your tried question. Take a screenshot of it, and then so this is what I want you to do with this question. Okay, try to solve it, and then I'm going to show you where you're gonna post your answers to. So I will look for it, and then I'll award you based on what you're going to get from this question, right? So there's a try question. Actually, take a screenshot of it. So and then once you are done with it, go to Facebook. All right, go to Facebook and then search for Labi Premium Consult. That's my page. Post it on my community. Post it on my page so that I will see on the community page of what Labi Premium Consult on Facebook, so that I will get to know that this is your solution to this question. So that at the end of the day, I'll mark it, and then you see your answer there as part of your involvement on that community. And make sure to like and follow that page too on Facebook. It's called Labi Premium Consult. That's my Facebook page. So that's where you're going to put all you're going to put your answers in relation to this question on that platform. So let's take note of that. So this question I'm not going to solve. We are going to solve it, and then I'll mark it for you on that platform too. So thank you. So let's move on to the issue about dealing with cash discount for partially paid invoices. You realize that what we actually learned was where the customer paid for what, a full amount, right, and you earn a discount for a particular period of what time within the discount or dates. I hope that is clear. But there are times where you see buyers, because they want to take advantage of what they obtaining or getting what a discount, there are situations where they cannot be able to pay all the full amount in relation to the merchandise that we have sold to them for them to what earn a discount. They can just pay part of what the invoice amount, and then in that way we should be able to find the equivalent way of what for them also to earn a discount based on the part payment they have made. So that's how you're going to actually engage on. So you're going to learn about how to calculate what cash discount for partially paid invoices, or what discount should have it equivalent to the amount that the customer paid as part payment for the full invoice amount. That's what you're going to learn. So oftentimes buyers want to take advantage of cash discount, but they can only afford to pay what part of the invoice amount within the discount what period. Please let's take note of this. In such instances, sorry for that, that was some interruption, so I need to get it off. So in such instances, the invoice is reduced by amount paid, that is a remittance. Okay, that is a remittance. The amount they pay, that is a remittance, plus the amount of the discount. So at any time where the buyer pays part of the invoice amount, you expect to earn what, a discount. If he couldn't even be able to pay all, whatever that he paid, he should be able to earn a discount. So you are going to learn how to calculate what this discount. So what he or she will pay becomes what we call the remittance for the period. All right. So at the end of the day, we expect that whatever you pay, you earn a discount to it. So the discount is going to be, the cash discount is going to be added to the remittance that you paid, right? So that we take that total amount from the invoice price that the customer owns, so that we get to know the amount that the customer couldn't pay. We call it the unpaid what, balance. So at any time we add the remittance that the customer paid to the business plus the discount that he earns based on that amount that he paid, we call it amount credited or amount to be credited to that customer's account. Please let's take note of this. At any time the customer issued any check for, let's say, part payment of the part of the invoice, okay, in terms of the total amount of the part of the invoice, any discount that you earned based on that amount that you paid as part payment on the total invoice, any discount you're going to earn together with the amount that you paid as a remittance as part payment, we call it what, amount to be credited to that customer account, or amount credited. So if he paid it, then it's amount credited to that customer account. But if he yet to pay, then we will call it an amount to be credited to that customer account or that buyer's account. So you can see here that the total amount paid plus So total amount paid here becomes the remittance that you paid, right? Plus any amount of cash discount he earned from that payment. We call it what? Amount credited, right? To the buyer's what? Account. So always, if we want to determine amount credited to the buyer's account or amount to be credited to the buyer's account, it is always the amount the customer will paid plus the invoice, plus the cash discount you earned on that part payment. That we call it as what? Remittance. So let's take note of that. So the amount credited is best computed using what? The complement method. You can also use the discount method to compute that. Actually, it works in both sides. So they are saying that it's best computed. If you want to compute it in the fastest way and the easiest way, then the complement method is good for you to what? Go, right? So in doing that, complement method becomes easier for you to go, but you can also use what? A discount method. At the end of the day, if you want to know the amount that is standing in that customer's account as an unpaid balance, we will subtract amount credited to that customer account from the total invoice amount, and then whatever is going to left, what we call the unpaid balance. It's whatever is going to left, what we call the unpaid balance. So amount credited, so let me make it as see, amount credited is always the remittance amount that you paid as part payment of the invoice plus the discount that you earned, discount amount that you earned on the part payment, is the remittance on the invoice. So amount credited is always remittance plus discount amount. And for you to calculate unpaid balance, unpaid balance is always your invoice amount, right, minus what? The amount credited. Is that okay? And you're going to get what? Unpaid balance. I hope that is clear. But how do you calculate amount credited to the customer account? How do you calculate unpaid balance? Which steps do you go through? So in doing that, we said that for you to compute for the amount credited, the best option that you can go is use for what? Complement method. But I'll teach you both complement method and then the discount method. So whatever way it will suit your interest, then you go for it. I hope that is clear. So in computing for unpaid balance, this is how we compute for unpaid balance. First of all, you must compute for what we call your complement rate. So in a question, you're going to be given what? A discount rate, and you compute for what? A complement. So let's say you're gonna give some terms like, let's say 5 slash, let's say 8, meaning that you're gonna earn what? 5% discount when you're able to pay within what? 8 days, right? So this 5%, what is the complement of 5%? Is going to result to what? 95%, right? I hope that is clear. So that becomes what? The complement what? Rate for 5%. Is that okay? So I mean, you'll be asked to first of all calculate the complement rate. After getting the complement rate, then you're going to divide the remittance that the customer paid as part payment by the complement rate, so that you're going to get what we call amount credited. So amount credited is always the remittance that the customer paid for the part payment of the invoice divided by the credit rate, divided by the complement what? Rate. So once you're able to divide the remittance that you pay as part payment of the invoice divided by the complement rate, you get what we call amount what? Credited. So whatever you get as an amount credited, you subtract from the invoice amount, and you're gonna get what we call the unpaid what? Balance. You're gonna get what we call the unpaid what? Balance. So that's how can we calculate what? Unpaid balance. So let's see the steps. First, you need to compute for what? The unpaid balance. And to compute for unpaid balance, you first of all compute the complement rate. As we said, for you to compute complement rate, you subtract the discount rate given in the question from 100%. And then next, you need to compute what we call amount credited, as I've said, by dividing the amount that you paid as remittance by the complement rate. I hope that is clear. So once you're able to get that, the next step is for you to get unpaid balance, you subtract your amount credited from the invoice amount so that you get what we call your unpaid balance. I believe that is clear. So that's how can we calculate for unpaid balance. But also when it comes to the computation of what? Actually the remittance, at times too, they might give you the amount credited in the question, and they will ask you to compute for the remittance. It's the same formula you're going to use, right, as I've indicated here. So we said that this one is going to be amount what? Credited, isn't it? Right. So R slash complementary is going to giving you amount credited. So to compute for remittance, this is a formula you're going to, if you are to use the complement method, then the formula is that remittance divided by the complement rate. For that, you know this formula, that this is how we compute for what? Amount credited, right? Remittance over complement rate, as you can see there, this one or here, by dividing the amount paid as remittance by the complement rate. So that's the formula I've just developed here. Is that okay? So for complement method, remittance divided by the complement what rate, that's going to give you the amount credited. So if you are given the amount credited in a question, and you know the complement rate, and you want to calculate the remittance, just use this equation. This one becomes out of one, right? And then you just make remittance the subject, and then you are good to what go. I hope that is clear. But in a case where you want to use the discount method, where you are giving what the amount credited, or the amount to be credited to the customer's account, you want to use a discount method. The first thing that you need to do is first calculate your discount amount. And how do you calculate your discount amount? You calculate your discount amount by multiplying the discount rate by the amount to be credited. So that's, you can see here, this one. So you multiply amount to be credited by the discount rate. There's discount rate. Is that okay? So you multiply the amount to be credited by discount rate, so that you're able to get your what we call your discount amount. So once you're able to get your discount amount, you subtract your discount amount from the amount to be credited or amount credited, and you get what we call your remittance. At the end of the day, when you use any of these two methods, you're going to get the same what answer. So let's take note of that. So this is how we calculate for remittance. This is how we calculate for unpaid balance. We calculate for remittance using the complement method or the discount what method. I hope that is clear. So that is the issue in relation to complement method and then discount method in computation for remittance, and then an issue in relation to unpaid what balance. I hope that is clear. If there's any question, please let me know in the comment section before we take our first example. All right, so let's continue. All right, so let's continue. There's no question, so let's continue. I think the question will come down later on. If there's no question, fine, then we are good to go. That's good, meaning that you are getting whatever we are actually learning today. So let's take our first question on the part payment and other stuff in relation to complement and stuff, right? So now there's a question here. Gliding Wooden buys building materials from KB company with an invoice price of what? So you see the invoice price of what? $584, right? And the terms were what? 4/10 net 30. Within the 10-day discount period, that was the 4/10, the company sends in a check. So which company are you talking about here? You're talking about Gliding Wooden. That company is sending a check for what? $300 as part payment of the invoice amount, right? So how much credit should Gliding Wooden receive, and what is their unpaid what balance, and what is their unpaid balance? 2, what amount should Gliding Wooden remit? So you are talking about remittance here. If they wanted to reduce their unpaid balance by what? Exactly what? $500. Remember, there's also another condition. It's different from the I part, right? They are saying that if their invoice amount is what? 584, that is an amount that you haven't paid, and they are saying that if we are assuming that if they want to reduce that amount by 500, what should be their remittance? So meaning that this 500, why is this 500? Let me see in the comment section. What is the meaning of this 500? Let me see in the comment section. What is the meaning of this 500? Let me see in the comment section, so that I will know how to, whether we are getting the concept that we are talking about. So what is the 500 here? So this 500 here should be what? The amount to be what? Credited. The amount to be what? Credited. So that is the $500 you see here, is the amount to be what? Credited. So let's take note of that. So let's actually answer the question so that we are good to go. So they are asking us to calculate what? An unpaid balance. So first of all, we said to do that, you must first of all calculate what we call your complement what rate. So let's see, the terms was what? 4/10 then N30, that's net 30, right? So mean that you earn 4%, like you're going to earn 4% when you're able to pay within what, 10 days. And then in the question, we were told that within the 10-day discount period, the company sending the check part payment of what, $300, and then we're able to what, verify. So meaning that Gladden Woodin is able to get what, a discount for the 4% discount within the 10 days. So show that we need to calculate our complement rate. So complement rate, let me call it as what, CR, should be equal to, so it should be equal to 100, right, minus the discount rate, which is what, 4%. Is that okay? So in this case, I can say that it's going to result to what, 96 what percent. So once you get your complement rate, the next thing you want to calculate is to calculate what we call the amount credited. Amount credited. So let me call it as what, AC, amount credited. So amount credited is going to be, we say amount credited is going to be your remittance. So here I'm using the complement method, right? Remittance divided by your complement what, rate. And what was my remittance by Gladden Woodin in this case was what, they paid part payment of $300. That was a check. So it's going to be $300 and then divided by the complement rate of what, 96%. In decimal going to go 0.96. And with my case, I had an answer of what, 3 1, or figure of 312.5. That's what I had for the amount credited. I hope that is clear. That's what I have for amount what credited. So if that is so, you can also try with your calculator and let's see whether that is true. So if that is so, then we can say that unpaid balance is going to be the invoice amount, okay, minus amount what, credited. So let me shorten it, AC, amount credited. So what was our invoice amount in this question? We were told that the invoice was what, 584. So it's going to be, it's going to be 584 minus the amount credited, which is what, 312 point what, 5, 312.5. So when you subtract my unpaid balance, I had $171.5. Let's see whether you got that same answer. Whether you got that same, sorry, not 51, it's actually 271. It's actually 271.50. So this becomes my unpaid balance as I believe that is clear. I believe that is, so that is an unpaid what, balance. So now we are also calculate what amount should Gladden Woodin remit. So you are talking about remittance here. If they wanted to reduce, so as I said, this is a different question from the they are saying that if they wanted to actually get a discount, that discount that they are giving us for within the 10 days, and then what amount should they pay in order for them to get that discount? And they are saying that in order to reduce their unpaid balance by exactly what, $500. So this $500, as I said, is what we call what, the amount to be credited, the amount, because they haven't paid. It's a condition. They gave a condition. We are assuming that if you want to reduce their unpaid balance, then so it is certain that it won't happen, because we are just assuming it won't happen. So it becomes what, a condition. Is that okay? So that's why I call this $500 amount to be what, credited, because it was a condition. They haven't paid for it. I hope that is clear. So in this case, for you to compute the remittance, we said that remittance, so for you to do that, we said remittance over, if you're using a complement method, remittance over the complement rate should give you amount to be what, credited, right? If you remember, is what we said. If you are using a complement method, this formula, is that okay? So that's what we are applying here. So we know that we don't know the remittance, okay, so let me present as, let's say, X, right? And then we know the complement rate in this question was what, 96%. I hope that is clear. So in this case, I can say that therefore my remittance, this one is out of 1, I can say that my remittance, which is X, should be equal to, so what was my complement? My complement rate in this question was what, 96%, right? So it's going to be, because we're having 4/10 and n/30. I hope you are good to go. So in this case, my complement my remittance, sorry, is going to be my amount to be credited. In this question, we're giving amount to be credited as what? $500. I hope that is clear. So it's going to be what? $500 multiplying my complement rate, which is what? 96%. And when you do that, you should arrive at a complement rate of a remittance amount figure of $480. This is a case where you are using the complement what method. But let's say if you want to use the, let's say the discount method, we say first you need to calculate the discount amount and subtract the discount amount from the amount to be credited, and you get your remittance. So if I'm to use the discount method, then I can say that I need to first of all calculate my discount amount, which is going to be the amount to be credited multiplied by the discount what rate. And I know amount to be credited was what? $500, right? And I know my discount rate was what? 4%. So 4% on 500 is going to give me what? 20 what? Dollars. So therefore I can conclude that my remittance is going to be my amount to be credited minus what? My discount what? Amount. And we can conclude that my remittance is going to be my amount to be credited was what? $500 minus discount amount of what? $20. And I can say that therefore my remittance is what? $480. So either you use the complement method or the discount method, you're gonna arrive at the same what? Answer. Discount method. It was the formula that we were talking about. Discount method. So you see the one I'm indicating with what? So first of all, calculate your discount amount and subtract your discount amount from the amount to be credited, and then you arrive at what we call your remittance. So let's take note of that. So that's how we calculate for remittance in using the complement method and the discount method. So let's check. If there is any question, let me know in the comment section. But you're gonna try this for me, so we continue. I think we are left with the latter part, and then we are done for today's discussion, and that will bring us to the end of commission and trade discounts. So let me see. Okay, Mohammed, that was great. So I think there wasn't any question. So let's try this one for me. So that we go. Guys, let's invite friends to join this platform. Okay, try to share this video. What I'm trying to say, try to share. Make sure to like this video as well, so that we can get more engagement on this video. So let's do that in that case. So with this, we are asked to calculate how much is the unpaid balance after 350 Ghana cedi remittance is made within what? The discount what? Period. So mean that they qualify for what? The discount, right? So you're going to go to the same process. We know the invoice amount, we know the discount rate, and we know even the due date in terms of the discount you're going to end, right? So you're asked to calculate the unpaid balance. You're going to go the same process. So in doing that, we first of all need to calculate your complement rate. So we can say that our complement rate is going to be 100 minus what? Our discount, which is what? 1, because we're having 1/15 and then n/25. So 1, all in percentage, right? So I can say that my complement rate is what? 99%. So once I will get my complement rate, then I can compute for amount what? Credited. So amount credited is going to be the remittance that was what? 350 Ghana cedis divided by my complement rate of what? 99%. So with this case, and in my case, I had the amount to be credited as what? 300 and what? 53 point. I converted to 2 decimal place. Okay, so I had $353.54. Sorry, Ghana cedi. Sorry, we are using Ghana cedi for now. Ghana cedi. So this becomes amount to what to be actually credited. So for me to compute for my unpaid balance, my unpaid balance is going to be the invoice amount, minus amount to what, or amount credited, sorry. So in this case I can say that my unpaid balance is going to be the invoice of what, 476 minus amount credited, which is what, 353.54. And in that case I arrive at a figure. So unpaid balance I had a figure of 122.46. I had 122.46 what, Ghana cedi. So that becomes my unpaid balance. Let me see whether you had that answer in that case too. So that is how we compute for the unpaid what balance, and that's very simple for you to go. Let's also try this one out and let's see. So question, you also try question 2. So here you are asked to calculate what size remittance should be made in order to have a total of what, 400. So this total of 400 is called amount credited. Amount what, credited. So always take note of this. Whenever you talk about remittance, automatically if he asks you to calculate remittance, automatically the figure is going to give it to you. If it's not an invoice amount, there's going to be what, amount credited. So always let's take note of that. Let's take note that if it's not an invoice, then it's going to be amount credited. I hope that is clear. So here they're asking you to calculate remittance, and yeah, this 400 is what, amount to what, credited, or amount credited in that customer account. So in this case, in calculating for amount to be credited, we said amount to be credited, AC is always the remittance, okay, divided by your complement what, rate. I hope that is clear. So we know that the amount credited was what, to have a total. I think you're going to hear an expression like to have a total of this to be reduced by this and those stuff. So once you heard of those expression, they are talking about what, amount credited, or amount to be what, credited. If it's a condition, then it's amount to be credited, but if they actually pay the remittance, then it's amount what, credited. I believe that is clear. So in this case, amount credited is going to be, so I don't know my remittance, right, but I know my complement rate, because the discount was what, 2/50, meaning that you're going to earn 2% discount within what, 15 days when you make payments of part of the invoice. And I know in this case I can compute for my complement rate. So what's the complement percentage of 2% as a discount? It's going to give me what, 98%. So 98%. So by the matter of the fact, I can say that my remittance is going to be $400 multiplying or 98%. And in my case, I arrive at an answer. I had my remittance, sorry, to be 392 Ghana cedis. 392 Ghana cedis. If you want to use the discount method, all right, if you want to use the discount method, all that you need to do is calculate your discount amount. So discount amount is going to be your amount credited, which is what, $400, right? So 400 Ghana cedis, all right, multiplying what, the discount rate of for 2%. And in that case I had an answer of 8 Ghana cedis. So therefore I can say that my remittance is going to be amount credited minus what, my discount amount of what, $8, and that's going to give me what, an amount of what, 392. So whether you use the complement method or use the discount method, you're gonna arrive at the same answer. So always let's take note of that. Let's understand the two so that we always work with whichever way is going to be best for us to move along in that case. So let's take note of that. If there's any question, please let me know. If you are just joining us, you're welcome to this live section. You are just treating what, trade discount and cash discount. So always please Let's take note of that so that we always get it right in that case. All right. So let's move on to the latter part of today's discussion, and then we draw the questions to an end. Dealing with sales and purchases for principals. Dealing with sales and purchases for what principal. So there are times where it's not only that the business is going to sell to customers when the customers came to them, and then they will sell to them, give them discount and here and that. No, there are times that some of the products where it becomes so difficult for the business to sell these products on their own, so they may engage in what we call a contract, more like an agency contract, where they're gonna employ another company or individual to sell such products on their behalf. And at any time there is an arrangement between what business and other individuals, we call the business the principal, and we call the other individual the agent, in which there is what a dealings, there is what a sales, I mean, where there is a purchases on behalf of what the business, where the agent transact business on behalf of what the agent. Then we are saying that we are into then we are saying that we are into what sales and purchases, where the agent will transact business on behalf of what the business, and the business is going to be the principal. At the end of the day, the business is going to pay the business is going to pay the agent, who is going to actually deals business transaction with a third party on their behalf. And when there is such an arrangement, we call such an arrangement as what consignment. So consignment, we are talking about where most of the time these things happens, where the business have their customers not within the jurisdiction that the business operates, but an outside, very far away, and it becomes difficult for the business to transact with them on daily basis. So they need to have an external party who is going to transact business with a third party, that their customers, on the business behalf, and we call that individuals or that business as what an agent. And in this uh, situation that we are talking about, or in this concept, we call such individuals as well consignee, and the business is actually called consignor, and the arrangement that facilitates the consignor and the consignee into dealing with what business transaction we call the consignment. So such shipment, what I call that shipment, we call that what consignment. So sometimes in business, producers send goods to agents for sale in different markets or at different locations for the sale at the best possible price. We are saying that such shipment is called consignment. So that's what I'm trying to talk about. The party who send the shipment is called what the consignor. So that's the business that's going to send what the consignment or the goods to other parts. And the party to whom the consignment is sent is what we call the consignee. So the consignee is the party to whom the shipment is sent to. Is that okay? So it's called the consignee or the agent. And then the consignor can also be called the principal or the business. I hope that's clear. So at the end of the day, we expect that once it's more like a commission work. So once the consignee transact business for you, the business, you expect you to make payment. At the end of the day, that payment is called the commission. So the commission is going to be taken from the total sales that the consignee is going to make on behalf of what the principal, that is the consignor, that is the business. So for us to determine the amount that the consignee or the agent are going to remit to the business is going to be the total sales going to make from the selling of the goods, taking away all costs. Taking away all costs. Please take note of this. Taking away all costs, and such costs can include commission that they pay to the consignee or the agent, and any other flight charges, any cost, any advertisement cost, packaging, and those stuff. These are what I'm talking about. All charges, transport, advertising, storage, insurance, all these things will be deducted from the sales of the period, and to include the commission they're going to pay. That's the amount going to pay to the consignee. All right, and whatever is going to left at the end of the day becomes the amount is going to be remitted to the business by the agent or the consignee who transact business with the third party on behalf of the principal or the business. And we call such an amount as well the net proceeds. So net proceeds is actually the total sales, that I can call it as well the gross proceeds, taking away all charges, all charges in the form of what? Commission, in the form of transport, in the form of advertising, storage, all costs. All costs. Take from the gross proceeds, whatever is going to be left, you remit to the principal or the business or the consignor. And as I've indicated, such arrangement is called consignment. Such arrangement is called consignment, where the consignor will contract a party called consignee, who is an agent, to deal with the third party on his behalf in the selling of what? Goods, in the selling of goods or products to the third party. So let's take note of that. Let's take note. So that is an arrangement that facilitates between consignor and the consignee, or the principal and then the agent, or the business and individual business or individual parties with the third party. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. If there's any question, let me know. So let's take an example. There is an example that we want to deal with so that we are good to go. This is an example we want to do so that we are good to go. So if there's any question, then let's take an example to clarify what I'm saying much more better. Now, example: Mr. Prosper, owner of what? Passion on Purpose Farms. Mr. Prosper, owner of Passion on Purpose Farms, has been trying to sell a used livestock truck and a used tractor. Unsuccessful after 2 months, Mr. Prosper consigns the item to Alex and Co. equipment brokers at the commission rate of 4. So you see the commission rate of 6% on the gross proceeds from the truck and 9% from the gross proceeds of the tractor. So whatever we're going to earn, Mr. Prosper is going to pay a commission of 6% on the truck and 9% on whatever sales or gross proceeds going to earn from the sales of this truck and the tractor respectively. Alex and Co. sold the truck for, so the truck they sold it for what? 42,500, and that of the tractor they sold it for what? 78,600. Sorry. Alex and Co. paid 610 Ghana cedis to deliver the truck. That's a flight cost. You remember, flight cost or transport cost, and 835 Ghana cedis to deliver the tractor. So that also becomes what? The transport cost for both truck and then the tractor. Then they're asking us, what are the net proceeds due to Mr. Prosper from the sale of the equipment? So as I said, for us to know the net proceeds is actually the total gross proceeds taking away all costs. The total gross proceeds taking away all costs. The total gross proceeds taking away all costs. I believe that is clear. So in doing that, I can say that the net proceeds that would be due to Mr. Prosper, net proceeds that will be due to Mr. Prosper is going to be the gross proceeds minus all costs. All costs. So let me make it as what? All costs. And I've defined all costs here to be include commission, transport cost, carriage, flight, packaging, advertising, insurance. All costs. Just subtract from the gross profit, then you get your net proceeds. I believe that is clear. So let's see how we can calculate for the all cost in this case. So here, all that we can do is first of all calculate the gross proceeds for the two tractor. We realize that the gross proceeds for truck was for 42,500, and then the tractor was for 78,600. So in doing that, I can say that my gross proceeds for the two is going to be, so let's do the calculation, let's do justice to it. So it's going to be 42,500, all right, plus 78,600. And what's going to be the product of, sorry, the addition of these two? Let's see with our calculator. So it's going to be 42,500 plus 78,600. Gonna result to what? 121 121 100 121 100. So we're gonna get a gross proceeds of 121 100 121 100 121 100. So let's take note of that. So once you get the gross proceeds, then let's calculate the total cost, all costs that you're going to deduct. So all costs from this is going to all cost. Let me call it as all cost. Is going to be, so first of all, the cost you're going to calculate first is going to be the commission. But we said commission is going to be, the commission rate is going to be applied on the sale so that you get to know the commission amount. So it's going to be 6% on the track, which is what, 42,500, all right, plus 9% on the tractor, which is what, 78,600, plus other costs that the Alex and Co incur in the process of selling the truck and the tractor. So they also deliver the truck and the tractor, so transport costs, right, or delivering costs of what, 610 and then 835 respectively. So we're going to add that two to it. So it's going to be 610 plus 835. So in this case, I can say that with all the costs that I incur. So let's see with the calculator that we got good to go. So I'm gonna have what, 6%. Let me fast a bit. 6% for 2,500 bracket close plus 9% into bracket. I'm gonna have here was what, 78,600. Is that okay? Plus 610 plus 835. Was it 835 or 853? Let's see. 835. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna earn what, a total cost of what, 11,069. So the total cost is going to be 11,069. So therefore we can say that the net proceeds to be, remitted to Mr. Prosper is going to, the net proceeds is going to be, the gross proceeds is what, 121,100, all right, minus all costs, that's all total charges of what, 11069. So let's see the calculation. So with this 121,100 minus 11069, gonna have what, an amount of what, 110 and 31, 110,031. So you're going to get a net proceeds of what, 110 and 31. So this is going to be your net proceeds from the sale of what, the two tractors. Because we were told that what are the net proceeds due to Mr. Prosper from the sale of the equipment. So the two is going to be what, 110,031, and that becomes the net proceeds. So all that you need to do, first of all, calculate the gross proceeds by adding all the sales and other incomes, okay, and then calculate all costs for the period, and then subtract all costs from the gross proceeds. You're going to get your net proceeds for the period, and that's how can we deal with it. So this amount that Alex and Co is going to remit to Mr. Prosper, who is the owner of Passion on Purpose Farms. So let's take note of that. So there was something here that at the end of the day, along with the net proceeds that they're going to remit, the commission merchant sends the consignor a form called what, an account sales. So the account sale will give a detail of all the transactions that took place in terms of what, the gross proceeds, in terms of what, the total charges, and in terms of everything, and the net proceeds as well. So the account sales detail the statement of the amount of the sales and various or deduction. So this is a sample of what I'm talking about. So this is what we actually work on. So to group them in a more tabular form or in a more account statement form, this is what you're going to see. So you see the commission. So everything, actually we calculate everything. So you see the flight charges or the transport cost, the commission that we calculated, and the net proceeds for individual. So you realize that for the net proceeds for the tractor, when you subtract all the costs, the flight and the commission, you're going to earn the net proceeds of this, okay. And when it comes to the tractor 2, we're having the flight cost and then the commission, and then when you subtract, you're going to get the net proceeds of this. So when you add the two net proceeds here, you should be able to arrive at what, a total net proceeds. I think you should have give the total net proceeds. you should agree the total net proceeds as what we actually arrive here. So when you add the two, you're gonna arrive at what? This. So there's just an account that is showing us what took place in their process to sell the equipment for Mr. Prosper Passion on Purpose, the owner of Passion on Purpose. So let's take note of that. You can actually work them as individual and after that add, or you can add as I did here for the betterment of saving time so that you are good to what go. So that is how come we actually deal with when it comes to purchase and sales, where an agent, a principal will employ an agent to deal with the third party on his behalf in a selling and purchase of what goods. So let's take note of that, and this just an account sale detailing what Alex and Co sent to as a form that is sent to Mr. Prosper on all transactions and cost and sale that took place in their process of selling. So let's take note of that. So this is for you. This is for you. So the same thing as I've indicated with, I think, with the first one, the try question, the first one on the cash discount, we're going to do same here. Take the screenshot of this question, okay, and try to work it out, calculate and work it out, and then visit Facebook and post it on my page, Labi Premium Consult page, and then I'll look at it and I'll mark you and give an award, or I'll mark you and then give you a marks based on what you had on the question. So guys, this is what will bring an end to the whole issue in relation to commission and trade discount. So thanks you very much, right from day one up to where we are now. I'm so grateful to have you here, always visit. So I'm so grateful to have you here. So guys, thank you very much. I'm so grateful to you, to what you have done right from the beginning to this end. So if you haven't liked this video, please make sure to like this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, to make sure to subscribe, so by this way, once you go live, you're able to get it right away. So thank you very much. So the next topic we're going to look at is going to be on inventory and turnover. So let's take note of that. So guys, I'll see you in next section where we discuss inventory and turnover. So thank you, and have a nice day. So thank you for coming. So bye bye. So I'll see you.